book was born in Tahrir Square, believe it or not, in Egypt, where the democracy movement invited me to come and present the India model for Egypt's democratic future. And the Egyptians asked me 3 questions. One, how did you keep the generals out of power? And I said, 65 years in India, no one has ever asked the question for 65 years. And they said, you don't realize how far you have come if you've never had to ask that question. Second question, they said, is that 11% of Egypt is Christian, Coptic Christian, and 13% of India is Muslim. They said, we believe that the Christians of Egypt feel insecure, but the Muslims of India feel secure. How did you do that? And I was again surprised because I didn't hold India as a model of secularism after 2002 events. And again they said, you don't realize the Indian Muslim is the least radicalized, least Islamicized Muslim in the world.
The Indian culture is temperamentally very democratic, in the sense that if you're going to be a revolutionary, speed is essential. You chop off the heads before they do anything, right? In India, nothing works fast. Tony Blair, whom I know, was there, and so I told a story about how Blair had been to see George W. and said that, I'm going to India. And so George W. said, well, but you were there only 6 months ago. So he said, oh, but 6 months ago I asked the Prime Minister a question, and now I'm going for the answer.
We never sold this conviction to the people. And if I were the Prime Minister, who's an economist like you, Jagdish,
and a good friend.
Better than me.
And I would be on there on television every night. Margaret Thatcher used to say that she used to spend only 20% of the time reforming and 80% of the time selling the reforms to begin with to her own party. And today, the biggest problem of the reformers is the Congress party, which doesn't believe in markets. But despite all these things, Jagdish, the fact is that I certainly believe that the Indian economy is going to recover, and it's going to recover much faster than we all believe, despite the mistakes this government has made. And frankly, for me, prosperity will continue to spread. So the real issue, and for the next 2 decades, I'm not taking a bet, but I can say that we'll be, by 2030, your per capita income, you'll be a respectable middle-income country, $6,000 per capita income or something like that. China will by then be 10, 12,000, 11,000.
I'm not sure.
But the problem that I'm saying is, so it's not the problem of the economy so much as the problem of institutions.
Right.
That happiness is not going to spread because you still have to bribe somebody to get a birth certificate, to get a driver's license, to get your name changed on your property when your father dies. So
and it's every step of the way.
Yeah, so to me, the corruption issue is not a corruption only of the collusion of a businessman and a politician. It is this insidious. We deserve better. The threat to India is not from the outside. It's not Pakistan, it's not China, it's not even the ISI. The threat to India is within. And today, the reason why the friends of mine in Egypt were holding India as a model of secularism was because the Indian Muslim was the least radicalized. Now, my worry with a guy like Modi is that in case, the ISI, Modi takes over, the ISI decides to engineer another attack like they did in Bombay. The response, I don't know how Modi will respond to that. I don't think he will do what Israel would do, but he will do something more. My worry is that we don't want the Indian Muslim community to be demonized or radicalized.